Thank you for choosing EPICTrack. In this video, we'll demonstrate how to create an EPICTrack tracking event. Tracking events within EPICTrack are easily created with our graphical interface, allowing any user to design the steps in their tracking scenario. It's important to remember when designing tracking events that understanding the output of your event, the reporting output that you would like, is always a great place to start. If you understand the data that you would like to get out, it's much easier to design the tracking event to capture that data accurately. In getting started, we're going to put in the EPICTrack server URL into our browser to get to the EPICTrack server main page. From here, we'll supply our username and password to log in. Once on the main page, we'll click on the Events button. From here, we can see a list of active events that we've already created. In this scenario, we're going to create a new event. The sample event we will create is a simple lunch tracking program. We'll call it lunch tracking. We can name our event. We can assign the event a barcode if we'd like. That's useful if you'll be switching back and forth between events frequently, but not used in many cases. We can select a background color for our event. In this case, we'll choose red. As we make changes, you'll notice that the preview updates on the left-hand side. On the first page, another important choice is defining the level of the events. An easy way to think of your levels is the number of lists that you will be tracking. In this event, we'll be tracking two lists, a list of the type of lunch that the person ate, and a list of people called students. So we'll make ours a level 2 event. Once we've defined all the items on the first page, we'll simply go to our next step. In this page, we'll design the first step of the tracking event. We're going to call it pizza. We have a list created of pizza types. We're going to select our pizza list from the drop-down menu. By using the Apply Preview button, we can begin to see what our tracking screen will look like. We also have two other choices to make in this step. We have a choice to make with items that are not in a list. What would we like to do with those? Do we want to go ahead and add them? Do we want to make it a passive movement, meaning that the screen will prompt us yes or no to continue if an item that is not in the list is scanned? Or do we want to say that they're not allowed at all, meaning that it will give us a pop-up screen that says that item is not allowed? In this scenario, we'll say not allowed. We also have a choice if the list includes photos. Do we not want to display photos? Do we want to allow a click to show function, meaning that it will tell us a photo is available, but we'll need to click to actually view the photo? Or do we want to say always show photos? For my example, I'll say always show photos. On this page, we're defining the action that will happen to the person that we're tracking. So, do we only want to know that they're coming in to the tracking event, or do we want to know that they're coming in and out? In our scenario, we only care that they're coming into the lunchroom, so we're just going to select in only. You can see that the screen updates to only capture the in data and not display the out button. If in is not an appropriate label, we can change the labels through the drop-down menu to something that might be more appropriate. The last screen, we're going to select the list that we'll be tracking from. In this scenario, it will be a list of students. We have a choice to whether that list is a drop-down menu or a scan-only list. The recommendation is for longer lists or dynamic lists to make them a scan-only list. That way you won't have to scroll through a very long drop-down menu. Smaller lists can be done as drop-down menus and may be convenient to scroll through and pick from the list. We also have a choice of what to do with items that are not in the list, just like on the previous screens, and also what to do with photos. I'm going to click Always Show. The last step is the completed button. What do we want to do when we click this last button? We can have it return to one of the steps. So in this scenario, I'm going to select to have it return to the pizza type. So after I scan a student, I can hit Done. It will go right back to the pizza type, and I can select the pizza type for the next student. If done is not an appropriate label, we can change that label to something more appropriate, like finished. We can also change the label here under this menu. So if scan ID is not appropriate, we can change it to something like scan ID card or whatever else we'd like to type. When finished, we click Next. We can now see the event we created, lunch tracking. It's in the system, live, and ready for use. Thank you for choosing EPICTrack.